Namaskar and welcome to NFL Masala. I'm your co-host Anant, and today Rakshak is not going to be available, so we have brought in a longtime guest, Mr. John Placenti. So what's up, John? How you
How
doing?
we doing? Thank you for having me back on.
Yes, sir. Happy to have you. And today we're going to be doing a recap of weeks 11 and 12 and do a preview of week 13, Thanksgiving weekend, and the Thanksgiving games tomorrow, along with just some Dhamakedar news. So let's get started with that Dhamakedar news. First bit of news, the Lions' center, Lions center, Frank Ragnow, who previously retired at the beginning of the season, is now coming out of retirement and returning to the Lions. He said, quote, he's returning to the Lions because he, quote, loves the game, apparently, to a source. And Wednesday was the deadline for Frank Ragnow to come out of retirement and be eligible to play the season. And if the player on the reserved retire list comes off, then he must be reinstated before that team's Week 13 game, which means he might be playing against Green Bay tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day. So that's fun.
That'd be pretty interesting if he made that trip.
Actually, just got an update. He won't be able to play. He'll be able to play next Thursday against the Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
So, luckily for us, he won't be able to play this game because then we can have Micah Parsons run roughshod all over the interior of that offensive line and sack Jared Goff like 5 times, like we've been doing for the past couple of weeks. But yeah, there is that. Another bit of news. Justin Fields has been benched. He sees himself as QB1, but despite despite the recent struggles, he believed that he's still the number one QB, but he's been benched after being replaced by Tyrod Taylor last week, and Tyrod Taylor will be the starting QB against the Falcons at home. Yeah, it's not like you can do anything else here. Fields or Tyrod Taylor. I mean, Fields. I don't even know if you can say that Fields is a better option. Like it's just so bad what the Jets have.
Yeah, and I feel like it really took for a turn for the worse in the London game against Denver, because since then
Yeah,
he had 45 passing yards against Denver, 46 against Carolina. He had
yeah.
a bright spot. He had 244 against Cincy, but then he turned around at 54 against Cleveland, 116 against New England. So it's like,
You're averaging like 125 yards a game. Like
yeah,
that's terrible. So I mean, it does make sense, but at the end of the day, the Jets don't have any quarterback who's probably going to be qualified for next year as a starter. Um, and he's only signed a 2-year, $40 million contract. And he's due to make $20 million next year, including a $10 million guarantee. But it might be that, like, the Jets, they're in line for a top 5 pick. They might go with another quarterback in this upcoming class. And even though it looks like a very mid quarterback class, a la Kenny Pickett, like back in that 2021 or
yeah.
2020, what was that, the 21 or 22 draft class?
I think it was
He's like,
22 because 21 was Trevor.
yeah, yeah. I know 2020, that was the goated one. That was with like Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love and
Yeah, it was
Joe Burrow all
Burrow,
over the
Herbert,
place.
Tua.
Yeah, yeah. Besides Tua, everyone else was a fantastic selection.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that happened. Brandon Cooks is going to be returning back to the Buffalo Bills. I didn't know Brandon Cooks still played in the NFL, but he is going to go to the Bills. And he apparently said he's been very effusive in his praise for Allen. He said, all you do is hear about this organization from afar being a special place and how they treat players, and it's all about ball. So I'm thankful to be here for sure. He's 32. He participated in his first practice on Wednesday ahead of Sunday's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah,
So,
I don't
yeah.
really get what they're doing there because they're just signing old receivers and hoping it for the best because they just signed
Yeah.
Mecole Hardman.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
when you want to make a playoff push and you have the team to do it, because Keon Coleman has all the talent in the world, Khalil Shakir is also a very good too.
Yeah.
You need someone else who can. When you have a receiving core that's not truly elite, but they're just good, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of the same with the Packers, but the only difference is the
Yeah.
Packers have Watson, Dobbs, Golden, Reed. They
Coming
have
back.
options
Yeah.
they can go to. When you only have two guys who are not quite elite,
Mm-hmm.
it won't work out well because then you're just
Yeah.
relying on the run game.
Yeah. Yeah. Which they have been doing. Right. And you can see that with James Cook and um the amount of success that he's had so far, but it's probably because from like a run pass split, Bills are one of the highest for running the football.
Yeah.
And there's an obvious reason for that. So yeah, they probably could have used Stephon Diggs again. you know? I wonder if they trade for Tyreek Hill.
Ooh, that'd
That
be
might be
interesting.
an interesting. Yeah, especially if they like give up a late like second round pick,
I,
which
I I could definitely see that happening. Or
yeah,
like I can't even think. Maybe what was Adams' contract?
I think he's still on the roster next year. With Matthew Stafford. I think Matthew Stafford is on the roster for 2 more years. And then Devontae Adams should be on the roster for next year. I think he signed like a 2-year deal.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. Devontae Adams. Yeah, he could like Devontae Adams would be a really good one. Uh oh, he has 3 more years or 2 more years, 26 and 27.
Oh, okay. So
But
he'll probably.
27 can be
Okay.
voided. So yeah. So 2026, it's a $14 million dead cap hit.
Yeah, and he'll probably stay with LA if they continue to have success.
Oh yeah, like this year, if they can like get to another Super Bowl and potentially win, I think either he retires or he goes for like another one.
Yeah. Or even like for Buffalo, even like going out and getting a guy. You don't need to get a guy that's like, oh my god, super flashy. You can go after a guy like Calvin Ridley,
Right.
who can win you games and make big catches in big moments.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's check who are going to be free agents next year. Um, Mike Evans is a free agent next year.
Well,
So,
I think he's gonna retire.
right. Here's a good one. Jacoby Myers. Now
Ooh.
I know Jacksonville traded for him, but you could make a case and offer him like a 3-year, $40 million contract, or like a 2-year, $33 million contract, just so that you could maximize um, the window that you have with Josh Allen, because the Patriots are already here at this point. Like there's no way that you're going to, um, you know, there's no way that you're going to get rid of the Patriots anytime soon. So they're
No.
already here. You're competing for the division with them once again next year. So you need like a good number three. Also, Alec Pierce is available next year. He's an unrestricted free agent. He's 26 years old.
That would be an
That might be a
interesting
good one.
one.
Yeah.
The
And if
one
we
guy
don't,
that I'm looking at on this list that
uh
really stands out to me is Jawan Jennings.
yeah,
I feel like he would be a good fit. He's still pretty young,
hmm
and he's been kind of balling for San Francisco. So
yeah.
that would be an interesting pickup. I just realized I completely cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're good. You're good. I was also gonna say Rashid Shaheed, just as a potential speed option, since you didn't get Xavier Worthy, because they don't have that. They have a good, reliable slot catcher slot receiver in Khalil Shakir, and then they have a possession receiver, supposedly in Keon Coleman, but they don't have someone who can take the top off the defense, which you should utilize considering Josh Allen has like one of the strongest arms in the league, if
Yeah.
not the strongest. So, yeah, definitely bring in a speedster. But yeah, we'll see. Anyways, that's it for the Molecular news. None other that are kind of noteworthy. Oh, actually, there is one more. Myles Garrett is on pace for breaking the single season sacks record, and it's not even close at the pace that he's had. He has 18 sacks so far, which is more than three teams this season: the Panthers, the Bengals, and the Niners.
Wow.
And yeah, and he, I think, nearly had the record for most sacks by a single person in a game last week. Um, Either last week or the week before, we had like 5 or 6 sacks on this on in a specific game. So he has 18 sacks through 11 games. He still has 6 games to get 5 sacks. He doesn't even need a sack a game. But when you look at where the Browns' schedule, um, who are they facing?
They
Let me
got
check.
San Fran this week,
Yeah,
whose
which
offensive line is pretty banged up,
so you should be able to get at least 2 sacks on that one.
and then
Um,
Titans.
oh yeah, he might break the record before they get to Chicago.
Oh my God, yeah.
Then you have Chicago, which is going to be difficult, but you might get a sack there. Buffalo, you might be able to get a sack. Pittsburgh definitely will. And then Bengals, which you will
Yeah.
probably get like 3. He might end up with like 27 sacks on the season.
Which is absolutely crazy to think about. And it kind of puts to bed the whole TJ Watt, Myles Garrett
Yeah,
comparison because
exactly.
it took TJ all 18 to or all 17 games
To tie.
to tie that record.
Yeah. And that too on a better defense and okay, better team, not better defense, but better team.
Yeah.
This one, like, I don't understand why he would even stay with the Browns, dude. I don't, I'm sure there was another team that would have offered him like maybe $10 million less, but a shot at the Super Bowl. I'm sure the Packers would have put in an offer for him.
Oh, 100%.
Like, could you imagine if he went on the Eagles?
Oh, they
Like, that's lights out.
yeah, no, they'd be the best defense in the league, no question.
Yeah. And they would they could you imagine if they had him, Jalen Carter, and Jalen Phillips all on the same defensive line with like that's just like
That's horrifying to think about.
that is no offensive line is going to stand up to them. Like even if you put max protect, I'm sure someone's going to break loose. But yeah, he is close for a record-setting season, which is probably going to be the only good news coming for the Browns this season, and deserved. Not for the fans. The fans are amazing. The team does not deserve happy news
No.
because they still technically have Deshaun Watson on their roster.
Yeah, well, I wonder what the cap hit is if they were to cut him.
Let's check. Let's check. Deshaun Watson.
Because at this point, I feel like it's more of a pride thing than it is a. Yeah, because I wonder how much they would be losing compared to if they were to keep him.
Oh my God. $36 million this year. 80 million dollars next year.
No.
Look,
Seriously?
80 million. I thought this was a rounding error. I thought it was 8 million. It's 80 million and 3 void years on top of that.
Oh my God.
That cost $50 million. Jeez, this is one of the worst structured contracts in history.
God,
Yeah,
this is
like
just.
next year's base jumps up to $46 million.
He's taking a quarter of their cap, more than a quarter of their cap next year. The Browns are going to be in hell for a long time. I don't know how long Myles Garrett's contract is, but there's no way you re-sign him. There's no way you get Ward back. They just need to implode at this point.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Myles Garrett. Yeah, next 2 years plus 3 void years on top of that. Next so he's signed
Oh, he's
all the
signed.
way, yeah, all the way until 2030. Yeah, they're not letting go of him.
Poor
Um
guy.
yeah. Even if he wants to, they're not letting go of him. I just like, how do they still have $23 million in cap space? Like, I don't think they'll be able to sign Jerry Jeudy for anything longer. So far, their draft class has been hitting, so I will give them that. But yeah, and they have a bunch of picks next year. They do have the Jags pick.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, can you pay a first-round pick,
Yeah,
let
yeah,
alone two?
yeah, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the team deserves the hell. Uh, Fans don't, but the team definitely does. All right, let's move on, shall we, to the recap. First game we want to recap. Packers versus Giants. We win 27-20. But what a frustrating win. I mean, we were letting Jameis Winston go balls to the wall. Which, was, we were letting fucking Isaiah Hodgins get, catch after catch after shutting down the Eagles offense to what, like 16 points or something. Letting up 20 for the Giants offense, like, come on, man. I thought that um this defense was going to be consistently great. And they have been. It's just that playing down to the opponent is just such a Packers thing. It's like built into our DNA. We just have to.
Mm.
I don't get it.
Well, yeah, and I feel like every single game we've had this year, except for the first 2 weeks, have been either frustrating wins or frustrating losses.
Yeah.
Or, obviously a frustrating tie, but we won't
Mm-hmm.
talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you look at it's the same thing. It's what they did against the Cardinals. It's what they did against Carolina. It's what they did against Philly. It's just stupid mistakes and stupid play calling. You can't
Yep.
keep calling screen passes and inside zone on 3rd and long and expect it to work. You can't keep
Yeah.
a guy like Jordan Love on your roster if you're not going to let him air it out. He's got the talent. We've seen it before. Why are
Mm-hmm.
you not letting him go? You can't have a
Yeah.
guy like Matthew Golden on your roster and waste a first-round pick essentially if you're not
Yeah.
going to use him.
Yeah.
It's
He
it,
had 3 targets, 1 catch for 24 yards. Matthew Golden, this year, the highest number of targets he's had was against Dallas, and that was 6. This is the target share that he's had. 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 2, 2. Like, wow.
And see, his biggest thing in Texas was he was a red zone threat. How many
Yeah,
touchdowns does he have this season? None.
0.
It,
They're mostly using him from behind the line of scrimmage as a screen guy or as like a gadget guy. Which, okay, fine, you can utilize him that way. But he's not supposed to be the only guy that way. Why the fuck are we not throwing across the middle of the fucking field, bro? What is this like play scheming? Because it's either routes to the outside where you hope Romeo Dobbs or Christian Watson catches the ball, and Jordan Love has to lace it to the outside shoulder and be absolutely perfect. Otherwise, it's going to be read by the DB and be a pick six. Or it's like a deep shot somewhere, and it's like a boot rollout that Jordan Love has to do to get away from the immediate interior pressure. Like there's no like. I know Jordan Love is mobile, so we can at least run some sort of an RPO, some RPOs as well, at least some threat of something different. And what you'd mentioned earlier, the inside zone shotgun runs on third down, third and short. I read somewhere that on third and short, the Packers are the 25th ranked offense in terms of success rate. On third and long, the best.
huh?
I don't get it either. It's supposed to be the opposite, which clearly indicates that this is a Matt LaFleur issue. This is not a Jordan Love issue. When you trust Jordan Love, 9 times out of 10, he's going to get the job done. When you
Exactly.
don't trust Jordan Love and you trust an anemic run offense or offensive line that's not good at running the football, this is what's going to happen. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was agreeing with you completely because you go out, you sign Elton Jenkins, who's a pass blocker. You put Zach Tom in your starting lineup, who's a pass blocker. You get Aaron Banks, who's a pass blocker.
Yeah, and he's supposed to transition into run blocking as well because he's the big, strong run mauler as well. But he's not been good at it. The only bright side that we've seen who's good at run blocking has been Anthony Belton. And he's been like, what, our 2nd-round pick? Jordan Morgan, 1st-round pick. He hasn't done shit.
Yeah,
It's
that's what frustrates me the most is we have a cornerback room so scarce, and we
mm-hmm,
took him over DeJean and Nate Wiggins.
mm-hmm.
Oh, that
Or
hurts the most.
or even if we were to go with an offensive lineman, Graham Barton was right there.
Yeah, we could have kept Jenkins at guard
Yeah,
and made Barton our center. It because
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, Jenkins is not doing great at center. He's a better
He's not.
guard,
He is.
and I'm just shocked they haven't tried anything new out because he hasn't been getting the job done. The only thing he's done while being at center is get hurt,
Yeah.
and
And like this insistence on um cross training all of their offensive linemen. Sure, it's good for depth, but when it comes to building the 5 best offensive linemen, you have to get the 5 best offensive linemen. Not every offensive lineman is going to be excellent at every single position. There's no possible way that, like, the physics does not make sense. For a left tackle, you need to be a lot bigger and a lot stronger and a lot like rigid and stiff than for a guard, right? Um, and for a center, you have to be light and agile, but also shorter. Tackles, you can be taller. You need to be more dominant. Um, but you need to be a little bit athletic. Like the physics does not make sense. And we have a good left tackle in Rasheed Walker. I think he's been solid. Um, Sean Ryan is apparently our center right now. I don't think he's that bad. I just, I don't know. I just think that they're kind of being too cute and not running the best five that they can consistently week in, week out. Like, that's what they need to run. They need to have the best five consistently week in, week out. And I get injuries are there, but we only have Allen Jenkins on IR. There's no need to be rotating your starting offensive lineman every single week. The same thing goes for wide receivers. You focus on three. There's no reason why. I understand the Dontavian Wicks. You know, I understand the insistence on trying to get him something, but we have Matthew Golden, who is a far better receiver than Dontavian Wicks. Like our top three has to be Watson, Dobbs, Golden. That's where 75% of our target share should go to.
Yeah.
Because that's what you drafted these guys for. Right? You're drafting them like there's a reason why Dontavian Wicks went in the 5th round and Matthew Golden went in the 1st. So I think we're getting too cute. We need to, and the same, could be said about the Vikings game as well, where we beat them 23-6. But it's the same thing all over again. The offense was so. This is the other gripe that I have about LaFleur. As great of a offensive play designer he is, and we've seen that in a lot of playoff games. When it matters the most, he'll whip out a play call that's like, oh my God, that's amazing. Why didn't we call this earlier? His tendency to play scared when we're winning and play conservative is so asinine to me. I'm like, our defense has been shutting out the Vikings. Like they have no possible way of actually winning.
Yeah.
Why aren't we running the score on them? Why are we not winning this game 40-6? Why are we running the foot? Freaking Emmanuel Wilson had what, 28 carries?
Yeah.
What do you think he is? He's an RB2. I mean, he's a really good RB2, but he's an RB2.
To be fair, he was kind of their best player by far on the field that day. He was playing
Yes,
really good football.
he was. But also, like, I want to see explosiveness because explosiveness is what can, break a defense in the playoffs. If you run conservative, then a good defense is going to figure it out and is going to figure out a way to stifle it. And guess who you're facing in the playoffs? You're facing the Rams defense, which is great at closing off offenses and taking their strengths away. You're facing the Eagles for sure, and you know the track record Vic Fangio has against Shanahan style offenses. You're potentially facing the Lions, which is fine. I think we can defeat that defense. But
Well,
those
even like
two,
a defense like Tampa,
yeah,
like
yeah.
they have such a good defense that you can't really play the cute shit.
Seahawks. That's the one that I forgot.
Yes.
Seahawks. Dude, we would lose against the Seahawks defense if we played this conservatively because they have an excellent run defense, much better than Eagles or the Rams. I think Seahawks are like the second or third best defense against the run. So if our identity is, oh, we're going to pound the football, run inside zone 50 times a game, that's not going to work. They're going to figure that out. Mike McDonald's not a dumbass.
Yeah, exactly. And
So
back to your point earlier with all the conservative shit, it's the reason we lost the Cleveland game.
yes,
We were up 10-0, sitting pretty. You
Yeah.
go up and score. Well, we weren't sitting pretty, obviously, but you go up, you run the score on them.
Yeah.
Because they do have a good defense.
Yeah.
Their defense isn't the problem, and yet you're running and you're playing scared, and you're running jet sweeps on second and third down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
That's also why we lost, against the Panthers, because we were running so conservatively.
Yep.
25 carries for 104 yards rushing and 37 pass attempts on our end. But that's because we had to at that point, because we weren't able to sustain long drives, because every second, the whole run pass type of um play calling it just doesn't work against good defenses, and that's something that has to be recognized.
Exactly, and especially, and I hate to say it, but I don't want to say poor, but with how mediocre Josh Jacobs has been this season, because he's getting 3.8 yards per carry.
I think a lot of that has been the play design and the offensive line not being able to block on inside zone plays. Because when you look at plays that go outside, or when you have pin and pull, and when you have offensive linemen running in space, we generate 8 yards a carry.
Exactly.
So I think this is a play. I don't think Josh Jacobs is that bad as the numbers suggest. I think this is a play calling issue. This is a play design issue. And I think this stems with who we have as our run game coordinator and offensive coordinator, and that is Adam Stenavich. That guy has to go. I recently, let me pull up the stat here. Recently saw a statistic about our offense. Okay, so this is on November 14th, so I think this is after the Giants game. So this has been a problem for at least 3 years, but it's gotten significantly worse with Stenavich as the offensive coordinator and Luke Butkus as the O-line coach. The run block win rate metric from ESPN. 2020, 2021, 2022. All top 10. In 2020, we had the best run block win rate. We were number 1 in that metric, which makes sense because that year we were also the best offense or second best offense in the league. And that was also Aaron Rodgers' 3rd MVP. Then 2021 was Aaron Rodgers' 4th MVP, and we were 4th in run block win rate. 2022 was kind of the down year where we lost Nate Hackett, I believe, right? Or that was yeah. So that was the year we lost Nate Hackett as our OC. That went down to 8th. Now, when Stenavich and Luke Butkus came into play, 24th, 23rd, and now 24th. So we have been consistent. This is despite the fact of us building, we've been one of the most prolific teams in terms of getting offensive line talent, right? Us, the Eagles, the Bills have consistently done this. Bucks have consistently done this, building through the trenches, right? This is despite us doing this for the past 5 years. 24th, 23rd, 24th. This is why we are struggling so much as a running team.
Yeah.
And I think this has to go back to Stenavich as the offensive coordinator, because when Nathaniel Hackett was the offensive coordinator, Stenavich was the offensive line coach. So I think Matt LaFleur needs to do something, get rid of Stenavich as OC and as the run game coordinator. He's not good at that position. Fire Luke Butkus. He's been terrible. Get Stenavich back as the O-line coach, and then figure out some other person to be the offensive coordinator. whether that's Matt LaFleur or whether maybe it's bringing in Mike McDaniel if he gets fired. Just someone.
Yeah, see, I don't know how I would feel about LaFleur being the OC just because they've been so bad on first and second down, and you can't really afford that
Yeah.
with this division coming up and being. Well, I mean, they're already up. They're already here. Bears, we don't know if that's a fluke or not, but the Lions are the Lions.
Yeah.
And it's just you can't run these plays and expect them to work when you have defenses as good as Chicago's and Detroit's and even Minnesota's when they're healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. That's the Packers in a nutshell. Consistently inconsistent with their offensive performances. Their defense, besides one or two games, has been spectacular. We saw that against the Vikings. I got to give a shout out to our defense. Fucking Michael Parsons, man, he's single-handedly saving our season. Single-handedly saving our season. I don't think, yeah. I don't think we could have that trade has it's been perfect. Honestly, I don't see Kenny Clark making the same sort of impact as Michael Parsons has. I saw this recently. He's one of two players in NFL history to have 10 plus sacks for 5 seasons back to back to back. You know who the other player was?
Reggie White.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reggie White. So to have him be in that league, like if Myles Garrett was not there, Michael Parsons would be the best pass rusher in the league. No doubt.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
I mean, in a way, I still think he kind of is the best pass rusher because if you look, hang on, let me pull this up just so I make sure I'm not talking out of my ass. Well, I'm trying to see because Michael Parsons has been triple teamed, I'm pretty sure, more than anybody. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. That is Myles Garrett. Yep.
Yeah.
Talking out of my ass. Yeah, Myles Garrett has been double teamed 75.93% of his snaps.
Yeah.
Micah's is 67.74.
Which is still, not that big of a difference, but yes. Yeah. Like besides Myles Garrett, Michael Parsons is the best pass rusher. So yeah, it's that it's now with like Nate Hobbs not there in the last 3 games because of his injury. You know who else has shown up? And
Valentine?
we've been
Yeah.
pounding the table for the last 2 years. Valentine has grown. He needs to be CB1. And in coverage over the last 3 games, it's not like he's played any cupcake wide receivers either. He's covered wide receivers like Devontae Smith, who had 1 catch over him. That's it. Devontae Smith, he's had, Wando Robinson and Isaiah Hodgins, so not that big of a deal, but he's had Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, he held him to 2 catches and like 10 yards. That's it. And on the over the last 3 games, 87 coverage snaps, 10 targets, 2 receptions allowed, 15 yards allowed. That's it. That is what you expect from a man cover corner. And when you look at specifically from man coverage versus zone coverage, and I kind of understand why Jeff Hafley is continuously running more. Well, actually, does he run more zone coverage, do you think? I think we run more man coverage now, and it makes sense because Valentine is the best man cover corner in terms of PFF grade.
Yeah, and Nixon's
Or
always
sorry,
been a man cover.
yeah. Yards per coverage snap allowed, per snap allowed in man versus and zone since the start of last year. So this is over 2 years. Valentine has been the best in man coverage. Less than half a yard allowed per snap. whereas he's like close to the middle of the pack when it comes to zone coverage.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's the other person that's been really like. I was very nervous about this secondary going into the season, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the stats now. Keyshawn Nixon, he's got 14 pass deflections on the year,
Yeah.
and the next is Xavier McKinney with 5. So he's shown up in a way that I don't think anybody expected.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I don't think anybody expected Keyshawn Nixon to perform this way. Like, so he's exceeded expectations that way, but I still don't think that on a play by play basis he's as good as Carrington Valentine. I honestly think that Valentine needs to be CB1, Keyshawn Nixon CB1B, and then Nate Hobbs. You know,
Hell,
yeah, only because we don't have anybody else to replace him with.
I mean it's oh my god, I forgot his name. Eric Stokes 2.0.
Yeah.
It's Kevin King. He's slow as hell and he can't cover. He's not good in man coverage, which is what 90% of this defense runs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think we should move one of the safeties down because we have 3 really good safeties. 4 if you include Zane Anderson.
Javon Bullard has been playing well. I will give him that. He has gotten better over the season. And I know he made a couple of big breakups against the Vikings. I think he was pretty good there. So he is kind of like your safety corner hybrid. He plays in the nickel. But yeah, Nate Hobbs, I don't know. We brought him in to be an aggressive man cover corner. He has not played that way.
No, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Actually, yeah, let me see. He is in the bottom third in zone coverage over the past 2 years, and like the top third in man coverage. Maybe it's just his injuries and the fact that he has to keep up with that, but I don't know. Maybe he gets better in the playoffs. We'll see. But yeah. Which other player do you want to highlight? There's one other. Edwin Cooper, dude.
oh my god.
He's so good.
He's so good at football. I love this man.
Yeah. I saw a stat. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, you continue. I saw a stat.
Well, one player that I really want to highlight, and it's not even like it's a shock that he's been playing good, but Quay Walker's been playing
Yeah.
out of his mind. He's got 84
Pro Bowl.
total tackles, 41 solo tackles. He's tied with Keyshawn Nixon for second on the team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's just been really, really good for us at linebacker.
Yeah.
He hasn't really been getting to the quarterback as much as I thought he would, but then again, we've used him differently than how I thought. I thought he was going to be more of a pass rush linebacker,
Mm-hmm.
even with because when you have him, Gary, and Parsons lined up, I feel like that's a formula for at least 3 sacks a game.
Yeah.
But having him play coverage linebacker has actually been really, really good, especially when he's amazing at covering the short routes and getting tackles for 2-yard gains, 1-yard gains.
Yeah. His speed is insane.
Yeah.
The fact that we have like 2 of the fastest linebackers, that's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Okay, yeah. So Edgerrin Cooper has. Oh, this is the other thing. In terms of penalties, right? Since November of 2021, Edgerrin Cooper has committed 2 penalties. That is 3,000 football snaps.
Is this going back to college?
Probably, yeah, because we drafted him in.
Oh, that's right. We drafted him 2 years ago.
Yeah, 23. So yeah.
Ow.
Yeah. Last 2 years of college, first 2 years of professional football. That's 2 out of 3,000. That is a that is 0.06%. That is how small of an occurrence it is for him to commit a penalty.
That's
That
such an
just goes,
insane number.
yeah, that just goes to show that like even as a tough football player, he's very disciplined.
Yeah. And our defense, I will say, our defense has done a really good job of not taking these stupid penalties like
Yeah,
they have in years past.
yeah.
But
Unlike the offense.
unlike the offense, yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Because when you get like 7 false starts every single
Oh my
game,
god, dude.
it's or well, and then there's that stupid penalty that I haven't really seen all that much until this season, where the tackle is like not covered up.
Uh, illegal motion or
No, it's
no?
like it's the illegal formation where
Oh
you have
yeah.
to have both tackles covered, I think. So
Really?
either a wide receiver has to be on the line of scrimmage or a tight end has to be next to the tackle.
So you can't play like um 5 wide?
Not anymore, I don't think, unless one of them's up on the line of scrimmage.
Hmm.
Like you can
Okay.
have a wide receiver out as long as he's on the
Right.
line of scrimmage covering the tackle.
Hmm.
But that's the thing is we've had all these penalties where it's like illegal formation for what?
Yeah.
And I don't
Hmm.
know if that's a new rule or what, but it's just because I've seen a lot of teams get penalized for it, especially like Buffalo, where
Yeah.
they run a lot of two tight end sets, but they run them out and kind of off the line of scrimmage, so the guard or the tackles are still not covered. And
Hmm.
it's just a weird penalty, and we've been getting penalized for it a lot. But the main issue is the false starts and the
Yeah.
jumping, and I don't know if that's a cadence issue with Jordan Love or if that's just a pure stupidity issue.
I love how you phrased it. I think it's a pure stupidity issue, honestly. Like this is um I mean, dude, I think this goes back to preparation. From in the off-season preparation, Matt LaFleur does not do a good job.
Nope.
This has consistently been year in, year out, coming out of the season in a lukewarm start. Recently, and recently there have been some games where we've been excellent. Right, the first game, I think that's more of the Michael Parsons effect than anything. Week 1 this year, because our offense was still like we only scored 23 points.
Yeah.
But like this, it's been consistent. I think let me check this. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I mentioned that roughly 50% of our penalties come on the entire season come from two types: offensive holding and what is it? False start.
Yeah.
They account for 50% of our total penalties on the entire year, which is like one of the highest in the league in terms of like total penalties. So, or percentage of types of penalties. So in this case, we've been doing a good job. Um, Against us, we've only had 73 penalties, which is like roughly middle of the like slightly lower on the entire like season or the rank per team. But when you look at position, or not position, sorry, penalty type. There we go. Yeah. So out of the 23 penalties, or 73 penalties, sorry, 73 penalties, 34 of them have been offensive holding and false starts.
Jesus.
That is roughly 50%. That's 47% of our penalties on the entire season has been offensive holding and false start.
Does it show like when like how many penalties we get like per game, like which teams like we get penalized the most with? Because we played a lot of good defensive lines this year. We played
Yeah,
against Aiden Hutchinson, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, the
yeah.
Eagles. Um, so I can understand where the holding comes from occasionally, but you can't continue to play undisciplined football
Hmm.
and expect to go anywhere with it because you're you're killing drives with it. Because every single time, because if you look at it, every single time they get penalized and they get brought back 10 yards, the drive stalls and they
Yeah.
fail to convert. And it's just I really don't understand where this is all coming from because Jenkins, I don't know if he's been penalized or he was penalized very much, except for the first year of his career. Same with Tom. I don't know too
Hmm.
much about Aaron Banks in San Francisco, but these guys weren't getting the penalties that they are now.
Hmm.
And granted, we've had this problem with false starts in the past, but it was never this bad.
Yeah.
It was never this egregious because I feel like the penalties were what killed us against the Panthers.
Hmm.
They're what killed us against. They're what almost killed us against Arizona.
It killed us against the Browns. That was the
Yes.
highest amount of penalties that we've had. 7 penalties on the offense and 5 penalties on the defense. We had 14 penalties against us that game.
Yeah. No, and it's those stupid penalties that cause us to just completely forget how to play football, I guess. And
Yeah.
it's just really frustrating watching a team that has so much potential. They have all the potential in the world.
Hmm.
They're so young. But they're young, but they have some decent experience.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're still
It's.
making these stupid mistakes.
Hmm.
It's, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the most of those offensive penalties were earlier in the season. About, you know, 13 of those 34 were earlier in the season. Sorry, 19 of those 34 earlier in the season. But lately, it's still consistent. 4 against Carolina, 3 against Philly, 2 against the Giants, 2 against Minnesota. So we had 0 offensive penalties against the Lions. So
And look
I
what
don't know.
happened. We blew them out.
Yeah,
How many penalties did we have against Washington?
5.
Okay. All five offensive or just five in total?
10 total, 5 offense, 3 defense, 2 special teams. Special teams has been consistently terrible as well.
Yeah. Well, and I guarantee you, because we were up big in that game in the first half, I guarantee you those penalties came in the second half when we were starting to let them back into the game. And this
Yeah,
offense is playing scared because they don't want to blow the lead.
yeah. And we only win by 9 points.
Yeah. When we should have won by 24.
Yeah. Um, yeah, actually let's go back and take a look at that because I think yeah, so at the end of the third quarter, we were up 17-3. We allowed 15 points in the fourth quarter against the Commanders.
Yep.
And then against the Browns, we allowed, I know that was a loss, but we allowed 13 points in the fourth quarter. We were up 10-0. It's the fourth quarter that we just completely shit the bed against. Against the Cowboys, we allowed 14 points in the fourth quarter, but that's because we allowed 16 in the second.
Yeah.
And that's why they were able to tie with us. Against the Bengals was a 27-18 game, same as the Commanders. But we were up. Okay. We allowed all 18 of those points in the second half. We were up 10-0 at the end of the first half.
Yep.
And then one more. I think the Steelers, we were good because that defense was just terrible. Um,
Yeah, they actually allowed 21 points to us in the fourth quarter.
yeah, yeah. Panthers, that's the other one. Yeah, we were up 13-6.
Well, Philly too. Even like we only allowed 10 points, but all their scoring was in the second half. We held them to a really good. That defense, that first half against Philly was the best defense
This
I've seen
defense
this
has
team
looked.
play.
Yeah, 100%.
They were so coherent. Even the coverage was amazing. It all flowed really well, and then it just came to a grinding halt once they kicked that field goal.
Yeah.
And they just kind of they got lucky on a lot of plays, and they did take advantage of a lot of screw ups on the Eagles' part. But it's one touchdown that could change a game like that, and that's what happened.
Yeah. 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 All right. That's going to be the end of our rant session. We still have to cover our preview episode about the Lions now. But speaking of the Lions, let's just do a recap of the Eagles versus Lions game. That was another barn burner, 16-9, I believe, was the final score. Oh my God. Speaking of like terrible offenses, like
I don't know what the hell they were doing this game. This was one of the most boring games to watch.
Yeah, please go ahead. Give us all of your thoughts.
Because it's like they get down and they get past the 50, and then it stalls, and they just kept doing the same shit over and over and over again. Whether it was Dan Campbell going for it on fourth down or Goff completely missing his receivers, they kept doing the same shit constantly because they were great on their own side of the field. They would run plays very smoothly, and I will give them credit for that. But once they got past the 50, it was a run that was stuffed, or it was a screen pass that didn't work. It's kind of like how we looked, honestly.
Yeah, they were 0 for 5 on fourth downs.
Yeah,
the Lions 0 for 5, and I think this was the first time or one of the few times that Jared Goff was held to like 5% completion percentage or something like that on third and fourth down or something ridiculous. But on third and fourth down, these guys are on 18 tries. They completed 3 times and got a first down.
Jesus.
3 of 18. No wonder your drives stall. That's a 16% conversion percentage.
And see, the problem with going for it on fourth down is teams have started to figure out Dan Campbell's scheme on fourth down. They've looked at the tape and they've seen because he runs the same 3-4 plays on fourth down. And it's because if you look at last season, they were 4th in fourth down conversion percentage.
Yeah.
In this year, they're 14th.
Yeah, when you don't have the creative engine of Ben Johnson anymore, you're not going to do much. Sorry, go ahead.
That's the other big thing with that.
Yeah.
And I was surprised at because they've looked okay, but I was surprised at how much of a hit losing Ben Johnson truly was. Because I feel like they lost Aaron Glenn, but their defense has been fine other than the numerous amount of injuries in the secondary.
Yeah.
But with the offense, it's like, well, we even saw it in that first game against Green Bay.
Yeah.
We held Jahmyr Gibbs Jahmyr Gibbs is kind of their whole offense as of right now, but we held him to 30 yards, and they just didn't look as sound as they did last year. And I feel like losing in the NFC Championship or the NFC Divisional round to a team like Washington, where you're supposed to go in there and blow them out, really killed every single ounce of morale they had.
Oh yeah.
And then you had Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn doing head coaching interviews while they're making that playoff push. They just lost all that morale, and it really carried into this season. And it's very blatant that the struggles on offense are the struggles in creative play calling are really hurting them. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's because it's all just the same.
yeah. It was like the first time that they went on the first of their failed fourth down conversion attempts. It was a 4th and 1 on their own 48, which is fine, but you're down three. I mean, I would go for it, but it's up the middle. Like it's a run up the middle by Jahmyr Gibbs. Same situation that happens. It's on their 43 at this point, and it's a 4th and 2. It's another run up the middle, this time by Grant Stewart. You have David Montgomery. Why wouldn't you utilize him? Why
Yeah,
wouldn't you have a two running back set, and then fake to one of them and give it to the other?
that's the other thing that baffles me about Detroit is the lack of use of David Montgomery. Because I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember, he had one really big game this year,
Yeah.
and then they just kind of stopped using him, and he's been
Mm-hmm.
getting 10 yards a game.
Yeah. Yeah. When you look at let me actually pull up his numbers. David Montgomery, this game against the Eagles, 6 attempts for 27 yards. That is almost 5 yards a carry against the Eagles defense, mind you. Eagles defensive line. He was like zero point 0.7 yards before contact per attempt, better than Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs had 12 attempts for 39 yards. So he's better against the Eagles defense before contact and after contact. And the two combined differences is roughly a yard. So he's roughly a yard more effective than Jahmyr Gibbs on a per down base or per attempt basis. And
Yeah.
yet half the attempts that Jahmyr Gibbs has had. And then when you look at his attempts record throughout the entire season, 5 for 18 against the Giants this past week, where they won in overtime, 34-27. Suck it, Lions. We were better than you. um, Eagles, 6 attempts, 15 for 71 against Washington. That's a good one. 11 for 40. So that is roughly four. 13 for 21 against Tampa Bay. That's fine. Tampa Bay is a tough one. He had 4 for 24 against Kansas City, 18 for 65 against Cincinnati, and the big one that he had was 12 for 151 against Baltimore and 2 touchdowns. So that was earlier in the season where he had 12.6 yards per attempt. But even if you look at recently, it's been 3.6, 4.5, 4.7, 3.66, and 3.6. And then Jahmyr Gibbs obviously is the better runner for hands down. But even then, you have a capable, like David Montgomery isn't just an RB2, he can be an RB1 for like 15 teams.
Yeah.
And you still don't utilize him in that. Like, I think that is what Ben Johnson was really good at, was figuring out a way to creatively distribute the ball to your playmakers. And the top 2 playmakers that they have are Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. They're doing a good job in involve. I mean, like you said before, Jahmyr Gibbs is their entire offense essentially. Actually, let me check on his like advanced metrics, which speaks to like how useful he actually is. But while I go do that, do you have any other thoughts on the Eagles offense and Jalen Hurts? Because I know like Jalen Hurts can be very controversial. That's for sure. But yeah, do you have any thoughts about that while I hunt down the stat?
I don't really have any thoughts on Jalen Hurts per se. I think he's doing fine. My thoughts are mainly with Kevin Patullo and how he's running that offense because you
Mm,
look at you trade for a guy like AJ Brown, and that's the biggest glaring like problem with this offense is you trade for a guy like AJ Brown and you barely give him the ball. Like
hmm
he's not hurt. He had his biggest game was 121 for 2 touchdowns, but that was off 4 receptions.
Yeah.
If they had actually given their star receiver the ball more,
hmm
that would have been a 200-yard stat line with the way he was playing. But then you look at he had 2 for 13 against Green Bay,
hmm
against a not so great secondary. He had 2 for 7 against Tampa Bay. He was 1 for 8 against Dallas in the first game. He did bounce back against Dallas and go 8 for 110. So I think they're finally starting to get him the ball more because in his last, well, I mean, he didn't really do much against Detroit. He was 7 for 49, but he's still getting the receptions. This was the first week where he had more than 6 receptions, which seems like a lot, but for a wide receiver one of his caliber, it should be so much more. Because you look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9, 7, 7, 8, 9, and then he had 6, 9, 5, 2, 9. So there's only 3 games this season where he has under 7 receptions.
Yeah.
And granted, yes, they do have Devonta Smith, who has been playing very well this season, but they're trying to figure out, or they're trying to force Saquon the ball and try to repeat the magic that was last season.
Yeah. Without understanding just how that magic came to be, which is a lot of, I think, the threat of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith really helped in letting Saquon loose, which is what like Kellen Moore did a great job in last year, right? And I think their offensive line was also much better last year.
Oh, for sure. And it wasn't nearly as hurt because they've had a lot of injuries in the offensive line this year.
Yeah. Very much like the Packers.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I echo 100% what you're saying. Like, you have 2 number 1 receivers. You should be exploiting that fact, and then use the threat of the pass to build a more effective run game, because that is when you could really, really explode as an offense, right? I think that's kind of what the Rams are doing. Is they saw that. I mean, they have Puka and Devontae, absolutely, right? But when you look at when you look at the way that their offense runs, they still have Kyren Williams is still like the 11th best running back for yards per carry for running backs that have more than 100 attempts on the season. He has 170 attempts and he has 4.7 yards per carry. That's 11th best on the season. And yet, when you look at the Rams offense, you don't think about Kyren Williams being the engine of that offense. You think about Matt Stafford and the fact that he's on pace for like 47 passing touchdowns on the season. Why? Because it's complementary. But I think they recognize that their main talent is their passing offense. And they've built an offense, and I really credit to Sean McVay for recognizing this, but they've built an offense where they can explode consistently with the passing game, which allows them to consistently keep drives going with the running game.
Yeah. And the Eagles really have not found that balance.
Yeah, because I think they've been too conservative in the way that they call their offense, just like the Packers. All right, I think the Packers should follow the Rams model and explode. Like, I don't care if Jordan Love throws a pick per game, if he can have like 4 touchdowns per game.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If he has 300 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick, I don't care about that interception because our defense is good enough to prevent that interception from turning into an immediate touchdown. So this is the other thing that got really frustrated against Aaron Rodgers during the later era, like the later years of the McCarthy era, where like Aaron Rodgers had such a low turnover rate because he threw the ball away so much. I remember like I think either 2016 or 2017, one of those years, he had like a 27 touchdown to 2 interception, like touchdown to interception ratio year. But that's because like he threw away the ball so many times because he was so afraid of getting an interception.
Yeah.
But in the process of doing that, he probably lost on like at least 7 or 8 passing touchdowns, or at least opportunities to get 7 or 8 passing touchdowns.
Yeah. And
Like the
even
fear,
if he's not getting the touchdowns, he's losing opportunities to move the ball up the field and get in the red zone.
right? Yeah, at least get some points on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Oh well. Any other thoughts on the Eagles and in that game? I know that I mean, there's not much else to say, but
Yeah, no, nothing really. Defense looks great. Offense really needs some work.
yeah.
Um, they're very talented. There's no doubt about that, but
Hmm.
they definitely need a come to Jesus moment at some point if they're gonna go back to back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because guess what happened this past week? Oh boy.
Yeah,
I really wish we had one of the Eagles fans here. But surprise, surprise, they lost to the Cowboys in Dallas after being up 21-0 in that game.
it I turned that game off in the third quarter, thinking, "Oh, this is
Yeah,
done. There's no way." And then I got home from work. I turned the game back on, and it's like, "Oh, Pickens just scored. Okay.
yeah,
Oh, Ferguson just scored.
yeah. Dak Prescott with the rushing touchdown.
Yeah." And then the only problem I had with that was Dallas had what 2, 3 turnovers in 3 consecutive drives or whatever, and
Hmm.
didn't do anything with it.
Yeah. Let me see. Cowboys drives. Yeah. So they had the first 4 drives for the Cowboys: turnover on downs, punt, fumble, interception. That is what allowed the Eagles to have the 21-0 lead.
Yeah,
And then they finally the Cowboys finally got a touchdown at the end of the first half. But it was 21-7 at the end of the first half. That is like you're done, right? Most teams are done at that point. You just like run up the score even more, and figure out, and probably win like 30-10 or something like that. But they didn't,
and the funny
because
thing was they didn't even score that second touchdown until towards the end of the third quarter.
yeah, yeah, which means there were 2 drives that the Eagles had punted. A 3-play, 3 net yard drive punt, 6-play, 18 net yards punt, then 3 plays, 7 net yards punt, then a missed field goal, and then a fumble, which was, you know, a Saquon issue, and then punt again.
Yeah,
Yeah, I that was I think this is the first time where we reasonably saw chinks in the Eagles' armor. Because I think before this game, we were all like, okay, we know that this offense can be good. We know that this defense is excellent. They can win basically any game. But I think this is the first game that we saw where, if shit hits the fan for the Eagles offense, it's not like last year where they can immediately switch it back on. It takes time. And in that time, if the defense gives up, it's going to be hard for this offense. I said this like a couple of weeks ago. This is very much like the 2023 Eagles offense rather than the 24 Eagles offense. And what's surprising to me is that like Eagles fans will say, you know, oh yes, the offensive coordinator. When it is the offensive coordinator is to blame for a majority of this. But if you have supposedly a top 5 QB in Jalen Hurts, they're supposed to be agnostic to who is the offensive coordinator, especially when you have someone like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. I'm sure at this point Jalen Hurts has some sort of a influence in the offensive play calling as well. I'm sure that there's like some way where he'll probably have two play calls called in his headset with the option for him to run either one. And at this point, like if he is that good as what people expect him to be, what Eagles fans expect him to be, he should be able to ride the storm of changing offensive coordinators. Kind of like how Baker Mayfield has been able to.
Yeah. Well, because you look at his productivity under Kellen Moore,
Mm-hmm.
it's night and day compared to
Yeah.
what he's been dealing with under Kevin Patullo. I definitely think there needs to be. This is definitely a Matt Canada situation
Mm-hmm.
where they need to get rid of him immediately, even if it's right now,
Yeah.
just so your team can succeed.
Yeah. I mean, there are some rumors that Doug Peterson is going to come back as their offensive coordinator, which if it does, then I think they have a shot. They have hope for consistently successful offenses
Oh
or
yeah, that'd be a
offensive performances.
fantastic signing.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But yeah, I mean, this is my it's not an issue for me. It's a I don't know how to say it because like Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. I'm not like saying that he's shit. He's just like, yes, he wins games, and that's kind of what you need from a quarterback. But like to place him above players like Joe Burrow and what some people would say he's better than Lamar or Josh. I'm like, you look at those quarterbacks specifically are largely agnostic to who's calling the plays.
Yeah.
Their talent and their success is largely agnostic to who's calling the plays. Um, and uh, I'm not saying that it doesn't help. Obviously, it does when you look at Patrick Mahomes' situation, but I don't know. It's very tough.
Yeah.
Like I would definitely say that he's a top 10 QB for sure, but I would rank like Mahomes 1, Allen 2, Lamar 3, Burrow 4, Stafford 5, and Jalen Hurts 6 because of the fact that he consistently wins. At least
Yeah.
he has the clutch factor. But I think the other QBs are just better overall quarterbacks than Jalen Hurts.
No,
Jalen
no,
Hurts
absolutely not.
still takes a lot of sacks, and we saw that against the Cowboys, right?
Yep.
I think there were like one or two drives where they were close to the middle of the field. They needed to get some sort of positive momentum. He took a sack, and that like completely erased the entire success of that drive. So I think that definitely needs to be taken into consideration. But like he's better than Herbert. He's better than Love, unfortunately. Love is just I think
Too inconsistent.
yeah, yeah, I
Way
have
too
to be real.
inconsistent.
I have to be real. He is too inconsistent. But yeah, he's still an excellent quarterback. He's just not to the level that the top 3 or 4 are.
Yeah.
And yeah, let us move on to the launch minute segment of last week, week 12. Let's check out what happened in week 12, shall we? One second. One second while I pull this up. Oh no. Okay, week 12. Oh boy. Oh boy. You had the Texans play the Buffalo Bills, and God, I wish did we have Cam because I would have loved to ask him what the hell is going on with the Buffalo Bills offense. They seem to be they seem to be completely. It's so weird. It's like the number of turnovers that they've had, the inconsistency in relying on their offensive playmakers. I don't think they'll have that much success if they continue to do this, because that defense I don't really trust at all. Allowing 23 points to fucking Davis Mills of the Houston Texans, that is very concerning. But yeah, that is definitely something that needs to be checked. So yeah, Bears win 31-28. Without Aaron Rodgers, that's still kind of surprising. All right. So moving on to the next game. Patriots 26, Bengals 20. It was very close. We did not expect it to be this much. And I think Drake May was sacked. He was sacked once, but he had a really good game. It's just that this was a lot closer than I expected it to be, especially when it came to the time of possession as well. Only a 7-minute difference. I thought this was going to be a clean sweep, but hey, Patriots still keep on winning, and Drake May still looks to be the pick for the pick for the franchise. He still expects to be the franchise quarterback. Obviously, there's like no turning back now. He's the man. And the Patriots are now on a 10-game win streak. First team to be 10-2. Now, moving on, the Jaguars and the Cardinals. The Cardinals had it. Cardinals had it. They were up 14-10, but they eventually tied with the Jaguars to go into overtime, and unfortunately, they lost in overtime to the Jaguars. It was 27-24. Jaguars are technically 7-4. They're still they're obviously in the playoff race. This is despite Trevor Lawrence having 3 interceptions. 3 interceptions on the game. Like, come on. There, he has to be more consistent for him to be a full franchise quarterback. Then you got Detroit. Probably the Masala play of the year at this point was the play where I'm just going to pull it up here because my God, that was just an insane play to Jameis Winston during this game. And he balled out. We have officially reached the Jameis Winston banger of a game. He is so good. He had a receiving touchdown, and that receiving touchdown wasn't like some dumbass 2-yard out or whatever. He trucked a guy. He trucked a defensive player. It was a 33-yard
another trick play
touchdown.
As Olszewski
to Jameis Winston.
Olszewski with the
guy,
pass
trucks him, and
into
then
the end zone for a Giants touchdown. Jameis Winston.
Giants should have won this at this point. They were up 27-17, but unfortunately, they could not finish the game because that Giants defense sucks at any sort of defense in late game heroics. They were up 27-17 in the fourth quarter. They should have won this game easily, but unfortunately they lost because they gave up 17 unanswered points. 17 unanswered points. A touchdown, field goal, and eventually in overtime, touchdown. And they lost 34-27 to the Detroit Lions. Lions, come on now. Even we did a better job. Kansas City, we had 3 games this season or this week going to overtime, and it was close to being the record for the past 20 years of having 4 games in overtime. So only 3 games this week. The third game being Kansas City versus the Colts. The Colts had another massive lead that they blew and eventually lost. So they gave up 14 points to the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs won 23-20 in overtime. But yeah, the Colts were up 20-9. They should have beat the brakes out of the Chiefs in Kansas City, but no. And here's why. Because Jonathan Taylor was held to just 58 yards. Just 58 on 16 attempts. So, yeah, clearly The way to stop this Colts offense is shut down Jonathan Taylor. You'll be able to shut down this offense because Daniel Jones ain't doing shit. Next up, you have Atlanta versus the Saints. Obviously, Atlanta won 24-10. It wasn't even that surprising. The Saints are just going to punt it for the rest of the season. We'll see if Tyler Shuck still remains the quarterback or if they switch to someone different. We'll see if Kellen Moore still remains the head coach after rumors of them trying to sign Justin Tucker. Or I think they did sign Justin Tucker. Yeah, that's a whole nother offseason thing or outside thing that I don't really want to get into because it'll just make my blood boil. Now, the next game was a very, very interesting game. Seahawks Titans. And yes, I said interesting because at one point, the Seahawks were up. The Seahawks were up roughly 24-3. They were up 24-3 before the Titans even came close. So, it was unbelievable the amount of success that the Seahawks offense was having. It wasn't unbelievable, but it was unbelievable the lack of success that the Seahawks were having in the second half, and then allow the Titans to get even close. 30-24, like, come on. Last but not least, or last couple of games before we end off this week, Cleveland. Oh no, Raiders. Cleveland beat the Raiders 24-10. For some reason, I was watching this game. I don't know why, but for some reason, I was watching this game, and every third snap was a sack. Like, I'm not even kidding. They had 10 sacks. The Browns defense had 10 sacks on the Raiders. 10. And they attempted 44 passes on the Cleveland Browns. The Raiders, Geno Smith attempted 44 passes, got sacked 10 times. Myles Garrett, as we said before, is close to getting the record. He's at 18 sacks, and he had 3 this year. 2.5. There was one play where it was close to the Raiders' end zone, so their own end zone. And you have Malik Collins and Mason Graham just completely like doing the definition of a bull rush, both of them on the guard and the center, just manhandling them within 2 seconds and having immediate pressure against on Geno Smith. I mean, this was one of the most like explicitly, I don't even know how to describe this. It's one of the most dominating performances you can have as a defense in just completely destroying any hope of an offense for the opposing team. Like, this is what you preach for defensive lines. 10 sacks. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's it for that game. The Raiders, season's done. Okay, tata, bye. That's what you need to do to your season. Geno Smith, see ya. He's not coming back in. All right. Last couple of games. We got the Rams against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was another demolition derby. It was 30 points. It was 31 points. It was 31-7. My bad. 31-7 at the end of the first half. Baker Mayfield injured his left shoulder while trying to throw a 70-yard Hail Mary. He was actually injured a little bit before that, and they still put him on the field, and then he completely injured his left shoulder trying to throw a 70-yard Hail Mary. And that meant Teddy Bridgewater was going to be the quarterback for the second half, which just like you had no hope. This was as definitive of a game, as a one-sided game as you could have possibly seen. 31-7. The Bucs did not have a shot in this game at all without Baker Mayfield. And Matthew Stafford continues relentlessly on his approach to an MVP season. He has 30 touchdowns, Matthew Stafford, this year. 30 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. 30-2. He might have the single greatest touchdown to interception ratio season we've ever seen, because he's on pace for like 47 touchdowns. So if he beats Aaron Rodgers is like 48-4 or 27-2, either one of those where he's had like a 11 or 12 touchdown interception ratio, if Matthew Stafford beats that, oh my God, on God, he needs to win the Super Bowl. He needs to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's going to get Devontae Adams into the Hall of Fame. But Devontae Adams, I think there's some crazy stat where he's like leading the league in touchdowns for receivers within 5 yards. Like 5 yards from the end zone. That's how many touchdowns that he's had. So, the Rams are the best team. No chance. Best team in the league right now. I know Eagles fans are going to crap all over me for that. I don't care. That was earlier in the season. Teams change. They evolve as they grow on. And Eagles, you've gotten worse. That offense has gotten worse. You literally just lost to the Cowboys after having a 21-0 lead. Come on now. And then the last couple of games we had Ravens against the Giants. Ravens wins 23-10. We talked about Justin Fields before. It is what it is. Finally, this is one of the weirdest games that you could possibly have. The 49ers win 20-9, but it was a weird game because we had 5 interceptions combined. 2 by Bryce Young, 3 by Brock Purdy in this game. It was like every other pass was a fucking interception. I'm like, guys, what is going on here? None of these, like, the Panthers have a really good pass defense, but still, like, this is, I don't know. This was a game. And I'm sad to say that this was the primetime Monday Night Football game, but this was a game. So that is it for the Punch Minute Recap. Now we are going to move on to the Packers versus Lions game. And the biggest thing that I want to take away from this matchup is, yes, it's in Detroit, but I have a message to the Packers offense. Throw across the middle of the field. We have confirmed that Jaden Reed is not going to be in this game, nor Savion Williams. So, gadget plays, Matt LaFleur, throw that fucking book out the window. We do not want gadget plays. We want you to run a competent offense that exploits the Detroit secondary and utilizes our greatest weapons, which are our wide receivers. Unfortunately, this year, that is our wide receivers. Running should be as complementary to the passing offense. We've tried to run more, and it has been consistently inconsistent for us. We need to get Jordan Love in a rhythm. He's in Toyotathon mode, so he can do that. But we need to get Jordan Love in the rhythm, and we need to get him situated against this this defense here, because the Detroit defense, while let me just pull up some statistics here. But while they are good, they recently just held the Eagles to just 16 points. They can be beatable. We saw the Giants. Utilizing exploiting and leveraging the fact that Detroit blitzes, right? When you look at the highest blitz rate across the year, Detroit is close to the middle of the pack, but at the top half of the pack, 25%. Roughly 25% of the time they're blitzing, which means this is a great way for Jordan Love to exploit this team. I have Matt LaFleur, please, for the love of God, for the love of love, please call some plays that gets our receivers open across the middle of the field, exploit the blitzes against them, get some like 6-man protections. I know our tight ends are not the best. Luke Musgrave has been a sad disappointment. We still have John Fitzpatrick. Utilize 2 running backs. One of them for blocking, actually both of them for pass blocking, because they are actually good. Pick up those blitzes and run crossers behind the linebackers, because that is a great way for us to. I can't believe I'm explaining this, but please run something across the middle of the field. It can't always just be post and go routes or corner routes combined with short in routes and comeback routes, all to the side of the field. There have to be some that are over the middle of the field, because then you could use that as an explosive potential. So please do something that you can actually utilize the middle of the field with. Call plays that you can utilize the middle of the field with. Throw some more like chunk plays into the play calling scheme. It can't always just be 40-yard bombs. I know we're good at it. Love is the best quarterback when it comes to deep ball completion percentage, or deep ball completions, not completion percentage, but just number of completions. But please have some balance, because if we don't, this Lions offense, if they get one whiff of a crack, they will have the potential to exploit it. And I know our defense is strong, but if it's another 10-3 game with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Lions are going to win. If it's a 10-3 or it's a 10-7 game, or 10-6 or 13-6, whatever it is, if it's a close, low-scoring game and our offense has not been doing well, the Lions will if they will get 2 chances and they will win. It'll be an ugly win. It'll be like 16-13 or some bullshit like that. Please, we need to go back to like the first week of the season, week 1 against the Lions. It needs to be that sort of a victory. So, offense needs to step the fuck up and actually get consistent. And that starts with Matt LaFleur. Defense, I have no doubt you guys are going to be great. I really don't have a doubt against. You're one of the best run defenses, one of the best pass defenses. From an explosive percentage, you guys are also really good. So I just just utilize Micah Parsons the way that you utilize him against the Vikings, lining him up. That one play, oh my God, that one play against the Vikings interior where you had Devontae Wyatt as a nose tackle and Micah Parsons line up right like behind him almost. Woo, woo. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Please do something. Jeff Halfley, magician, master chef at designing stunts like that. Continue to exploit him that way, please, because we need Micah Parsons, the lion, to hunt these lions to extinction. He's the lion hunter. We need him to hunt them to extinction. So let's get it. Let's get it. I think the Packers win. I think our defense is just so much so much more consistent than the Lions offense has been, especially against tougher defenses, right? I expect the Packers defense to show up. The offense, on the other hand, it's a toss-up. It is a toss-up. It's a short week. I don't know if they're prepared well. I know it is Thanksgiving. Jordan Love historically has been fantastic on Thanksgiving. Actually, when you look at Jordan Love against on Thanksgiving, I think he has like a 71% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks, just phenomenal record on Thanksgiving. I'm just trying to pull it up here. Where'd you go? My apologies. I just need to say this here. But yeah. Oh yeah. So Jordan Love on 2 Thanksgiving games for the previous 2 years. 2-0, 71.7% completion percentage, 542 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks, 127.2 passer rating. He's gonna show up. I know he's gonna show up. It's just that if Matt LaFleur can fucking call a consistent offense, please, it's gonna be so much more enjoyable. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think the Packers win. I think knowing how the Packers play, I think they win like 20-17. I think it's a close game. I think our defense pulls it out. And I think our offense is barely squeezes by because it's in Detroit as well. So I think we win 2017. All right. So that's it from the Packers side. Now for the Eagles, I'll pass it on to Rakshak.
Namaskar, Rakshak from the NFL Masala podcast, coming in live from Florence, Italy. Yes, the Philadelphia Eagles did suffer a horrible meltdown on Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys, giving up a 21-0 lead and to lose at the final seconds 24-21. And unfortunately, there are injuries. Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley were reported to be out of practice. Safety Andrew Makuba is out for the year with a broken ankle, and Reed Blankenship suffered a concussion. Although Blankenship is scheduled to play this upcoming Friday against the Chicago Bears. This is an all blackout jersey, and leaning towards that, this is the end of the quote-unquote Eagles-Bears alliance. Now, what the Eagles need to do is, especially with the criticism coming in from Ken Fatul and Nick Sirianni, they have no time to do self-evaluations. They have to gear up and get ready against a very tough NFC North opponent that is leading their division, and they're also 8-3. And they'll be seeing some familiar faces on the other side. And running backs DeAndre Swift, safety Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and linebacker TJ Edwards, and also safety Kevin Byard. So for the Eagles this will be a huge test for the Fangio defense to hold off against his semi-explosive Bears for Fangio's defense to hold up against a very semi-explosive Bears offense that is known to make some incredible comebacks lately. Also, for the Eagles offense, what they were able to do in the first half when they put up 21 points, they have to continue this consistency against a very good Bears defense. For this game, I'm hoping for a 24-21 win for the Eagles. This is Rockstruck from the NFL Masala podcast, signing off from Florence, Italy. Ciao.
All right. We're not going to pick Masala games this week. So that's going to be it for us today. If you guys have enjoyed, please leave us a review at one of the 4 podcast platforms that we host our podcast on: Apple, Google, Spotify, and Pocket Casts. Or you can follow us on all of our social media platforms at this handle, at NFL Masala 2022, spelled as at NFL Masala 2022. And I'm going to hit you guys with our signature outro. Go, Pack, go. See ya. Take care. Have an excellent homie Thanksgiving. And thank you guys for so much for listening to us. Thank you.